We live? Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. We're going to talk about food shortages. We're going to talk about some things that you need to do right now if you haven't already. And if you have done these things, put down in the comment sections below some tips to help people with. And because I've been saying this for 3 years since I've had this channel. It's so vital that you have emergency food set up. And we're not talking about like emergency food like, oh, the electricity goes out, or, there's an earthquake and I need like a week's worth of food. I personally have had a year's worth of food for 13 years. Have I needed to use it? Nope. Have I rotated through it? Yes, I have. Because I went and purchased that 1 year supply back 13 years ago, did I save money? Absolutely, I did. It's very important that you protect your family from food shortages, but that doesn't mean that food disappears. It means it gets scarcer. There's less of it. It gets wildly expensive. And I've said this before, I will say it again. I believe we're going to see hyperinflation in food and energy. So it's very important that you go do that now. And right now, before the panic happens, think about what happened if you would have went and bought toilet paper the week before COVID. I did. I had 5 cases of it from Costco. And me and my buddy used to sit on the tailgate and just laugh at everybody else freaking out. Now it's not a laughing matter because you've had all the warning in the world. You also need to protect yourselves from tyrants and people that would want to harm you. That's why having a tool, like something that sits on your side, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's it's the second portion of, it's an amendment. You need to realize how important that is too. And not only that, get the proper training. I've spent so much time in tactical training for these things, me and my family. It's very important to understand that. But we're going to dive into these news stories. These article headlines should be shocking, but not shocking to where it's scary. It's shocking to where it wakes you up and goes, oh, you know what? I'm going to check out what food is on sale before there aren't any sales. And to say that sales today are nothing like the sales of 2018, 2019, 2020 is an understatement. All right. But things have changed. Stuff has shifted, and geopolitical threats around the world are going to threaten the food supply in America. All right. Treaties, deals, tariffs, all that kind of stuff are going to be threatened. All right. And in the next couple of years, you're going to see food prices go up exponentially. Check this out. This story is out of Yahoo Finance. These foods will be in short supply later this year in 2023. So stock up now or find alternatives. It says here, number one, or first off, it was a bad year for food shortages in 2022. I want to preface that again. Some people, they're like, I think they're meatheads. They seem to think when you say food shortage, they go, well, I still got food in my grocery store. No, you numbskull. Yeah, I gotta keep it clean. That means that there's less available, and since there's still the same amount of hungry mouths going around wanting food, the prices go up. Very simple. And just so you know, during hyperinflations, you can still go into a hyperinflation like in Venezuela, Turkey, and all these other countries just in the last few years that have had them. And there's still food at the top of the shelves. Why the top of the shelves actually have the more expensive food? The bottom is for the bottom dwellers. And I hope that wakes people up, because that's what the elites think of you. And there's always food at the top of the shelves until it goes into straight panic and they start stealing and robbing the stores. And then that's why you need personal protection, and they start eating their farm animals. Remember when Venezuela was eating their farm animals? They were chopping up horses and eating them because they didn't have food. Where are we at now? Where's Venezuela at? You don't really hear a whole lot about that lately. It's interesting. It was a bad year for food shortages in 2022, with categories including eggs, which hyperinflated, went up four times their value, and baby formula hit hard. Unfortunately, 2023 could see its own batches of food shortages. That's what consumers should start stocking up on now before prices soar, and prices likely become harder to find on store shelves. In 2013, really in earnest, I was racing around from church to church in my local areas, warning people about an upcoming inflation wave and food shortages. Now look, it didn't happen for 10 years, but it did happen. And if people were, and I've had so many people now come to me and say, if I would have done what you said, yep, buy Bitcoin, buy silver and gold, oh yeah, buy all this stuff, food, I'd be richer and more prepared, and my mind would be a little bit more, my head would be screwed on a little tighter. But they didn't listen, right? Are they still alive? Yeah. They still have stuff? Yeah. Do they still have a job? Yeah. Is it going to be harder? Is it harder today than it was back then? Yes. Will it be harder 2 years from now than it is today? Yes. End of story. So just because you hear food shortage doesn't mean that you can't go find it. It's just at what price. All right. Corn. Number one, corn. Historically, Ukraine has been one of the world's leading providers of corn. But that's all changed since Russia's invasion, which has no end in sight. As such, we will be seeing less corn. This is a pretty major issue since corn is an ingredient so many other American products, including chips, salad dressings, and even soda. Number 2, bread. A bread flour and wheat shortage are likely on the horizon, largely because of the ongoing war in Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine account for close to 20% of the world's cereal grain production. Look, I'm going to tell you something right now. This is how the world works. Even if that was all a lie, and Ukraine doesn't provide that much of it, right? Just the fact of that going out in the news waves, the algorithms trade up the futures of corn and wheat. All right? It makes it more expensive. Matter of fact, it's so much easier for a bank, and they've been caught with this before. JP Morgan caught hoarding, buying up warehouses and hoarding commodities like that. In the past, they've been fined for that kind of stuff, and they made a ton of money because they hoard it and they wait for this price wave to go up, and then they sell it into the market. And they sell it in a way that it doesn't go down in price. Okay? So I don't care if you think these stories are true or false. I think most of the crap in Ukraine's made up anyway. But I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter what you think. The fact is, the elites want you hungry and they want you scared. Why? Because when you're hungry and scared, you're going to do anything they want because they're going to piddle a little bit of money on top of you. That's all. That's all they care about. Just like what they did in 2020. Quit your job or close up your shop, send all your employees home. Don't worry, we'll give them a pittance right now. You could see my disdain for them. Number 3, vegetable oil. I don't like vegetable oil anyway, but several vegetable oils, canola oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil, and palm oil are expected to be in short supply over the next several months. This is due to a few factors, including Indonesia's decision to halt export of palm oil and continuing droughts around the globe. Look at rice isn't even on this list, I don't think. But look at what's going on with India and rice right now, right? People panic buying rice. Baby formula. Now, there's nobody panic buying rice in America. They're in other countries because they're a little bit more awake. So they're not getting shot full of propaganda so much. All right, baby formula. The ongoing baby formula shortage is expected to last through the spring of 2023, according to a recent report. The maker of baby food formula giant Enfamil reported. The shortage is persistingly mainly because the issues that led to the initial shortage last year, including a pile of recalls and labor shortage, led to such a monumental supply shock. So it's not just war that causes this. It's labor shortages. Anything can break in the supply chain and you've got issues. Number 5, champagne. Who cares about that? We don't need champagne. I just don't care. Number 6, canned pet food. If there was ever a time to start making your own pet food, it's now, thanks to an aluminum shortage. Canned pet food could be harder to come by in the new year. Look at a day where you have the commodity that makes the packaging that's in short supply that causes your canned pet food to go up double, because now since aluminum's in short supply, it costs that much more to make the can. Think about that. It's not just a war. It's not just labor shortage. It's not just packaging shortages. And think about this. When the markets tank and businesses go out of business, you want to talk about a supply chain shock? Think about when all of a sudden all these companies close down that were here today making the packages, but now they were so over leveraged that they just closed their doors. Now everyone's like running to find a new supplier for just the packaging. There are so many things that could cause a food shortage in our country and cause hyperinflation in food. It's insane. And if you're not getting ready for it right now, I'm telling you what, you're going to be screwed. And I want you to get ready for that, because you have to be ready in all these different aspects. Why? Because I need you with a clear head when I go, okay, now it's time. We're going to start buying real estate. And you're like, what? Because the banks don't deserve it. The banks shouldn't be getting it. And they aren't going to make us all renters. There's a bunch of meathead, in this world, we got a bunch of meathead preppers that sitting there like, I'm going into my bunker. Well, good. You're useless. You're useless. I don't care about you. I care about humanity, about us getting this back from the elites. A bunch of crappy little beta males running around, running the world. And I don't care if you're going to suffer. Good for you. Good for you. Why don't you help other people? A bunch of people run around, it's going to be doom and gloom and it's going to be crazy and I'm going to, this fear porn is just going to get me a bunch of subscribers and money. It's like, dude, why don't you just wake up to the fact that you have to be well-rounded? Successful people are well-rounded. You got all those people running around in their caves and their bunkers. Cool, good for you. You can come out after the Ice Age and wake up and repopulate the earth with what? A bunch of other people that are scared? You know, at a certain point, only brave men and women will take back our country. I don't care if there's somebody, you could be as prepared as you want and by yourself and you're an army of one. Score. That gets you nowhere. That gets our country nowhere. So we need people that are well-rounded, prepared in all aspects of life, and are now helping. You know, I got prepared 13 years ago, like I said. And then I just went and started crushing it in business. You can only buy so much food. You can only have so much land. You can only have your bunker set up and you're like, all right, now I'm going to go live. Knowing that that is always there to fall back on. I hope people understand that. So look at your canned pet food. So check this out. Another story out of donga.com. Donga.com. Growing crisis in North Korea induced by food shortage. I want people to understand that one of the reasons why Japan went and attacked America was they were starving. They were backed into a corner. Most people don't understand how that worked, and we did it. We wanted an excuse to get into the war. And when countries are backed against a corner and their people are dying, they come out fighting. They come out swinging. Right now, there's a growing crisis in North Korea. It says North Korea has long grappled with food shortages, but the situation appears unusually dire. Typical food scarcity in a region is assessed through meal skipping, but in chronically underfed North Korea, the severity of the shortage is measured by the number of starvation-related deaths. Let me explain something that most people don't understand. Let me use World War II as an example. When Great Britain got bombed just back to the next century, and Europe was getting just decimated, right? They're getting destroyed. They went to us for help. And we didn't just help them. We held a gun to their head. They said, we need help. We need armament built. We need aircrafts built. They've all been destroyed and we need your help. We need your factories. They said, oh yeah, we'll help you. That's going to cost you. We want you to send over all your gold. And we took advantage of their need. Oh, we'll help you if you do this, and gave us the ability to become the world's reserve currency and hold everyone else's gold, to control the world's gold supply. See, that's what we're doing with other countries too. There's countries like North Korea right now, they're starving and they're asking for help. And there's countries like us going, you want food? Yeah, we'll help you. We'll make it look real good, like we're the saviors of you guys. But this is what you're going to do for us. And I think there are some leaders in our world that are going to come out swinging. They're like, well, you know what? We don't want to do that. And since that's the only way, then I guess we're going to choose death. And I'm not joking. I think that you're going to see World War III come out because of a scenario like that. And people need to be ready for that kind of stuff. And again, that's why you pay attention to our rights, especially right number 2. Something you put on your side goes pew pew. I have to be interesting with my words because the way they listen and I want this information to go out to the masses because I think it's very important. It says North Korea's National Intelligence Service reports that between January and July of 2023, approximately 240 people in North Korea died from starvation, making a 2.2-fold increase compared to the 5-year average of around 110 during the same period. These might sound like small numbers to you, but they're not. They're not. I don't care how tyrannical your leadership is in a country. They still look at how many fighting aged men do I have to be able to go and conquer or defend myself. They still look at that. And when they're starving, they're having to pony up answers. It's horrible. The correlation is unmistakable in North Korea where violent crimes are surging. That's going to happen here. Again, why you need to protect yourself, why you need to be trained. Let's go over some headlines here. Russian troops could face food shortage as key suppliers tied to Prigozhin. The growing crisis in North Korea induced by food shortage. Afghans starve off. Oh, I clipped that one. Alaska task force estimates 67 million needed to stave off food shortages. This is a month ago. Alaska needs $67 million to stave off food shortages. "14 foods you may not be able to find in the grocery store in 2023. Stock up before they're gone." And they give a picture of a bottle of hot sauce sriracha. And this is because companies are going out of business for all kinds of different reasons. So you might as well want to stock up now. Point being is this: food shortages are going to get worse. And that means prices are going to go higher. It's not something you want to be right in, but I will be right. We will see hyperinflation in some form or another. I don't know how severe, but it will be hyperinflation. Just like we saw hyperinflation in eggs. You just witnessed it. You experienced a 4x increase on eggs, 400%. That's hyperinflation. Have those prices really come down? They backed off some, but they're still exorbitantly higher than they were. You're going to see that in food and energy. As a matter of fact, we're sitting at what, $85, $86 a barrel of oil. We're going to see triple digit oil, like I've been warning. It's like, where are you at? Are you, a lot of people are running to electric vehicles, like it doesn't matter. Electricity is skyrocketing too. What do you, so you got to start somewhere. And the easiest thing you do is go buy some canned food and store it away. It's got 2-3 years shelf life, and then just rotate through. And know that if there's a point where it gets too gnarly, too nutty, and you're going to have to make a decision, well, do I eat my food storage or do I pay my mortgage payment? Keep making that mortgage payment. I don't want you to lose your house and you eat your food storage. That's just the truth. Everyone, thank you so much for all the videos you share. Really appreciate it. Every time you hit the thumbs up and you comment, I thank you. Thank you so much. The Economic Ninja is out.